All right, here we go. We're testing out a new overlay. I gotta make sure to turn off a portion of it. I don't really want the bottom where it has the rector. So I think we have to do that every game. But also we couldn't fit a full name, but Emibert starts things off hot with a goal coming through. But yeah, if we put MishMash Gaming with this overlay, unfortunately, it cuts off like half of it. Not very long. But there's a shot on target, but Harm had to react last second. But as you can see, this is Royalty Series NA Premier GC2 to GC3, and it's week 7, last week of the regular season, as these teams enter into the qualifying period after this week. So, a final record standing statement as Emibert trying to dribble through, and Squid in a rough spot, even though the way was cleared. As Pinch goes the other way, Phillips has a touch, but right back is a shot, and what a save. Crossbar touch. And Squid trying to keep the pressure, but got the numbers. What a demo, unfortunately, for MishMash. That comes back from a ricochet. But Thunderbolt feeding it mid, and Extra can't get the touch. But good positioning from MishMash. And trying to get that pop into mid. Phillips has the back wall cleared. Arm is up with a touch. And that's lofted. Somehow continues. You can see Emibert pull back. And it bounced off his car anyways. But big 50s. Harm thought he could boom it downfield. But gets a second chance. And who other than Phillips on the defense. But closing in on halftime. And 1-goal lead. That's a small difference. Harm to the air has some numbers, but there he is again on the stop. Phillips. Now Thunderbolt, that's a light touch and easily snuffed out. But what a read. Emibert up quick. And a little team bump. Harm. Tactical fake, but Thunderbolt there just in time. And you thought it'd be an open net. MishMash recovering, and now trying to get one on the board. Still testing, and Emibert with the ground control almost gets it by. But what a touch and a secondary effort. Give him credit. It's been all over this one and makes a heck of a play. That first touch did not result in a bar in and just had to make his own statement. And almost gets another just reacting. But Emibert. And that's going downfield, and what a save, or at least preemptive save. But 1-1, Squid wants to keep it close, but Phelps with the challenge. Now Emibert by 1, Squid trying to continue. Emibert can't get there. Now Squid gonna try it again. But to the midfield, Emibert in a good spot, but Extra there. And now all three converge. Can Spartan Fury capitalize off of this? That's going nowhere and gonna be cleared. But a touch slightly wide, keeping corner. 23 seconds. MishMash by 1. 50 into the mid. Velops is there for the 50 of his own. And Squid trying to keep it in the safe zone. In the corner. Extra all the way down. And we might have ourselves an OT for game number 1. But the challenge extra is there. And big kickoff in OT. You know, you play this good, something's bound to break down. As both teams have been pretty locked so far. But that's a challenge, and quick on the draw. Velops is there, but saved by Harm. And looked like they had the momentum, but they still have some pressure. Squid trying to get it by. That goes midfield. Harm blasts it. And MishMash can only get a piece as now counter coming. Harm, that's midfield, and MishMash looked so awkward, but does get a touch to start that counter attack. And extra forcing the issue at midfield, and there was another close call. Pressure coming out, and it is back and forth, but could come down to a bump, but recovery from Velops. And that's good pass midfield. No one there, though. And back and forth. That might be an opening. Velops does respond. And MishMash knows it. To the midfield. 50. Extra off the wall. MishMash turning it. Back and forth we go. Arm to the midfield. Slight touch. And now Fury in an awkward spot, trying to race back. A good pass back. Can Fury recover and reposition? They're winding down, but MishMash finds himself a little bit of a gap in time. Takes control. And we are past 2 minutes in OT. Extra to the midfield. That's a costly double commit, but Squid trying to bring it the whole way. And MishMash just managed to get a defensive stop just when they need, but here is a chance and a collision. Velops, tactical fake. Now MishMash, the bounce. Thunderbolt is there. Continued on. Can Thunderbolt continue? Velops off the backboard. Tough read for Emmy, but luckily for Fury, no one on ground to shoot. But now we're seeing some more whiffs come out as we are past 3 minutes into OT, and what a banger! Harm seals the deal. And puts that OT to bed. What a first match. Are you ready for this series? Alright, so if anyone's watching, we got this new overlay of the stats, and we gotta make sure everything's good. I don't know, I believe we have to like make sure certain things are hidden. This is based on the HUD when we start this one, but hopefully everything looks good. Hopefully nothing resets. But game 2 on Forbidden Temple. Do we see an abandonment of all defense now that we had a game like that? Locked in for over 8 minutes in game 1. And MishMash showing signs of human. And that's going downfield. MishMash can track it down, but we've already seen some fatigue showing as both teams look to get back into things. Harm, slight touch, and gets a demo, but you're seeing a little bit more time from both teams. Time to set up. How can you use that to your advantage? And that's off to the side. We're seeing some more demos. Fury not able to capitalize on the few chances that they've already have looked at. But Team Pinch, Thunderbolt giving that up, and MishMash trying to strike it right through. And another demo, but not resulting in anything so far. Squid, quick bang, 50 up. That's going to be midfield. Midfield is a big problem. If there was a bump there, that would have been easy goal to go through. Both teams trying to adopt more bumping. As Squid, it's going to be too much. And what a touch by MishMash. Good positioning. Able to fill the gap, but extra all the way down. And back and forth. No goals. Although, could be a setup here. But challenged. Not giving any time. And Squid. Crucial touch to continue downfield. We're at halftime. No goals scored. Looks like both teams locked in to defense again. Harm can't get a touch there. And no one to follow. As MishMash kicks it away. That extra has to get a touch here. Harm just lofting it mid. And slight back pass. MishMash has to get something here. As last back. And Harm goes flying. Big demo. But Harm back in action. Now extra. Trying to 50 it out. And that's going wide. But extra wants to make sure. We're still scoreless. This next goal could be huge based on how difficult it's been to score. And MishMash trying to keep it close. And what a chain of reactions. As what can break through? Velops had to adjust there. Didn't want to own goal, but there Levy breaks and Harm able to put one on. And doesn't need to be too strong with the kind of pressure that we just witnessed. Or at least the past minute. But Harm gets a touch and can't get the double. And MishMash trying to pave the way for Squid, who shows good control, but last second save from Velops. And that would have been a good security goal for Fury, but MishMash, they need to tie this one up. They drop this. They're down 2 in the series. And it's not like they have been that far outplayed. It's only been 1 goal differences. And maybe you just stopped in, maybe you didn't. Either way, the game 1 was a 3-minute OT. Burt. Good control, keeping it, taking the time. Possession game almost seals the deal, but Squid is there. And Burt, with a good control, able to cause some missing and set it up. So great play from him as Spartan Fury up by 2 in game number 2 as they take this one and are at match point. All right, game 3 is here. Let's get into the action. Burt, good control in the air, extra there on defense. And to score first would be big for MishMash. They have not been able to find the lead and certainly could play different once they're able to. But dropped mid as a little confusion there. Burt just gonna let this drop, show control, but light flick taken care of. A nice extra touch from Squid. More 50s coming out. Off to the corner as a bit bunched up. Let's bounce high to the mid. Good speed from extra. That's Squid by 1. Burt waiting. Does beat out. Is that in? That's a little bit wide. And Squid, rough spot. Trying to keep it in play. Extra there again. Showing good speed. Can he get the double? He gets a demo though. Looked like he lost momentum, but still able to have enough for the demo. But extra. It's been a big factor in this one. There's Thunderbolt, nice save. But a tough spot, and that's done many in when you're on the back wall and you gotta adjust, but trying to keep it close. And that little bit of gap, Harm seizes and gives his team a 1-goal lead as we venture closer to 3 minutes to play. Squid back, gonna boom it down. Nice demo, cutting the second man. And now Harm looks to get dunked. That's 50'd out. Harm continuing. And dangerous in front of net. Almost a mistake there, but extra able to stay with it. We're gonna get a demo, and Thunderbolt has to get a touch, and extra might have the net crossbar. And how unfortunate for MishMash. As they're down 1, they need that goal. And gonna have to go back to the drawing board, but Harm has the way paved and could just dribble it in. And good little separation. Able to ride that one home as Spartan Fury up by 2, and now everything's breaking down as Squid has Easy one on target. But 2 minutes to go. Squid trying to close out that 50. Giving up. Harm can do some damage. Can't get the bump. Now extra. Trying to get it by. But we got some lead blocking from MishMash. Envelops to extra. That's going to bounce out. Now, Emmy Burt has too strong of a shot. As will be the benefactor of that one. As now 4 goals up, and sometimes that's Rocket League. Lock in for so long. Like I said, something's bound to crack. But MishMash, they have played solid throughout. But sometimes, yeah, they lose by 1 and they stack up. But extra trying to find the net. 1 minute remaining. Envelops. Gonna be challenged. Somehow Emmy Burt stays with that. What a play. How was he on top of that one? Had to go back and a quick turn. Emmy Burt has shown some risky yet rewarding challenging. And there's another, and he's just applying pressure all over this game. He's got the stats. And also right space and time. Arm. Gonna ignore his teammate flying through. Bounce to mid. Extra. Kicking it out. And Emmy Burt, a little bit of luck there. Does get the 7th goal. And you gotta kind of know what's coming next with 16 seconds left. But it would be funny. MishMash, they don't want the Brazil, so they just don't do it. And it's gotta be Rocket League. Must be done. No. Alright, that concludes this one. Big shout out to both teams showing up in this. Spartan Fury and MishMash Gaming. Of course, if anybody is lurking, you are appreciated. Thanks for tuning in to this. Honestly, MishMash, they played very well up until that last one. And like I said, very close games. Only decided by 1 up until this one. But both teams were locked in. It was exciting matchup, exciting games. Overtime, 3 minutes in. Definitely a way to start the series. But in the end, Spartan Fury take it. So congrats to them on their Week 7 victory. And of course, don't forget to report the match. But let's choose the prediction. If you chose Spartan Fury, you are correct.